Hey everyone, it's me, Matt. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great, and if you're from the United States, I hope you've stayed warm over the last week because I know temperatures have been really cold throughout much of the country. The cold weather's even found its way into sunny Florida with overnight lows dipping into the 20s and 30s throughout much of the state. So in today's video, I thought I'd take you around and give you some updates on some past planting projects. We're going to start by checking out all the growth at my friend's house from the front yard makeover I did back in November. Then we're going to head over to my other friend's house so I can update you on all her beautiful front porch planters from the front porch makeover video I did a few weeks ago. I'm also going to show you her front and back lawn areas that I overseeded with cool season annual ryegrass off camera. They look absolutely stunning. And then we're going to wrap up the video with an update on my cool season vegetable seedlings I started about 4 weeks ago. So let's get into it. So starting with the front yard makeover project from the beginning of November, check out all the growth. If you remember, I completely redid this area between the street and the sidewalk, and I planted just over 100 individual plants. Right away, you'll notice all the blue color from the proven winners of volvulus ground cover plants. They're looking spectacular. These plants have definitely put on some size and really add a nice pop of color into my friend's front landscape. Looking at the other two plant varieties I used for this project, you can see they're also looking great. The variegated Aztec liriope down the center has also put on some size and is filling in, and the purple and green oyster plants that flank both sides of the liriope have really settled into their new homes nicely. You'll also notice the bug and slug killer I proactively spread around the oyster plants is working. I'm not seeing any slug or snail damage on these plants. You can also see the entire garden bed area is weed free thanks to the preen pre-emergent herbicide I applied when I planted everything in. The preen is doing its job suppressing new weeds from growing. It's keeping this garden bed area low maintenance and allowing all these beautiful plants to be the star of the show. Overall, I'm still so thrilled with how this entire project came together. If you remember, my friend's three main requirements were that she wanted color, she wanted low growing plants, and she wanted low maintenance plants, and I'm happy to say I delivered that for her. My friend has been so happy with this front yard makeover. This project has added so much curb appeal and transformed this area of her front landscape from a barren blank slate to this beautifully landscaped garden bed. So now let's head over to my other friend's house and I'll give you an update on all her front porch planters as well as her front and back lawn areas. All right, we made it over to my other friend's house and check out how beautiful her entire yard is looking. Not only have all the container plants settled in so nicely, but you'll notice how stunning her front lawn is looking. So, like I said earlier, I overseeded her lawn areas with cool season annual ryegrass off camera, and you can see it's quite the transformation from what the lawn looked like when I filmed the original container planting video. And the best part, cool season annual ryegrass is really easy to grow this time of year in Florida, and you can expect these same results in a little less than 2 weeks too. I actually made a step-by-step cool season annual ryegrass overseeding video last year that I'll link in the video description for reference in the event you want to transform your lawn this winter too. And then really quick, here's a peek at her back lawn area. The grass back here is looking so vibrant and so green too. So moving on to the front porch containers, look how beautiful they're all looking. So these containers were all planted in about 3 weeks ago and they've already put on so much growth. The Supertunia snowdrift plants and Super Venus sparkling amethyst plants have gotten so big and have already started spilling out of the gray containers, and the wire vines planted in on the sides are looking great too. Looking at the shorter black containers, you can see the white sun patients are looking amazing as well. They're covered in bright white blooms and are filling in beautifully. And then over here towards the driveway, you can see the white ceramic container with this single Supertunia snowdrift plant is holding its own. It's also put on a little more size over the last few weeks, and soon enough it's going to cascade out of this container, completely covering it with white flowers. So stepping back, here's another wide shot of the entire front porch area. You can really see just how much growth these plants have put on in a little less than a month. They're all filling in so nicely, and I can't wait to see what they'll look like later on this season. Soon enough, the Supertunias and Superbenas are going to completely cover the gray containers, and the white sun patients will top out at 2.5 to 3 feet tall. It's going to look so stunning as they grow into a living wall around my friend's front porch. Overall, these plants have been pretty low maintenance for my friend. She hasn't had any big issues. The bug and slug killer I sprinkled in when I planted these containers in is doing its job. She's also been hand watering these plants about twice a week depending on rain. I still need to get back over here and hook them up to drip irrigation though. The only real issue she's had to deal with is our recent cold weather, Anytime the temperatures dip below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, my friend has been pulling these containers in under her front porch and covering them with a frost cloth. So far, she's only had to do it about 3 times, but I'd argue that the added effort is well worth it since she gets to enjoy these stunning container arrangements in the middle of winter. Overall, I'm thrilled with the outcome of this project, and I know my friend is too. So let's head back over to my house now, and I'll give you an update on all my cool season vegetable seedlings. So we're back at my house, we're in my backyard, and check out my little carrot seedlings. They're looking amazing. You can see pretty much all of them have their first set of adult leaves. I also went ahead and thinned them all off camera the week before Christmas. Once they grew to about 1 inch tall, I used scissors and thinned them to one plant every 3 inches. I'm also excited to share that the nuisance squirrels have left all these seedlings alone. In the past, I've struggled with squirrels digging in my garden beds, disrupting the seeds I've planted in the ground. I ended up creating this cover using metal hardware cloth and discarded bricks to shield my seeds and seedlings from the squirrels, and I'm happy to say it's worked flawlessly. In previous years, I've used fake rubber snakes to try to deter the squirrels, and that generally worked with mixed results, but this hardware cloth has been 100% effective. It's really inexpensive online or at Home Depot. All I did was slightly crease it down the center so I could tent it over my garden bed area, and then I used bricks to close up the sides and hold the hardware cloth in place. Moving on to my broccoli seedlings, you can see they've put on some size 2. They're a little flopped over at the moment. We had a lot of wind over the last few days with the recent cold fronts, but overall they're still looking pretty good. I also thinned these seedlings off camera. If you remember, I planted about 4 or 5 seeds per container because I was using old seeds and I wasn't sure that they'd all germinate. But in the end, all of them came up, so I had to thin them back to 2 plants per container. So the germination rate with these broccoli seeds was yet another win. Also, I wanted to quickly update you on my 16-month-old. Yes, you heard that right, my 16-month-old broccoli plant. I started it from seed back in September of 2023. It didn't bolt in the heat of Florida's summer, and it still hasn't produced any broccoli, but it's put on a lot of foliar growth now that the temperatures have cooled off, and it's looking pretty good. I'm still wishing and hoping for broccoli from this plant, but at this point, it's kind of comical, and I'm not holding my breath. And then lastly, looking at my lettuce seedlings, they finally started to come up, but they've been really slow growing. These seeds were also about a year old, and I was worried about their germination rate too. If you remember, I also tried to propagate lettuce from food scraps, but they didn't make it, and now my lettuce seedlings aren't looking the best either. It looks like I might be 0 for 2 with lettuce this year. I'm going to give these seedlings some more time, but I might break down and just buy some lettuce starts from the garden center. Overall, I'm really happy with the progress of all my cool season vegetable seedlings, and I'll continue to take you along as they grow and mature over the next several months. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed all the project updates. If you haven't already done so, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you can hang out with me in future videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.